Hello, everyone. I am Sophia Ring, SP Saturn the 7th, and you are watching Anime Egotists. Enjoy!
And welcome back to the Anime Egotists, where we would probably get kicked out of the fairy tale guild.
What do you mean we would? We got kicked out last week.
I know, but Lucy said we're welcome back anytime, but I told her, you don't have to lie to us. It's okay. She still insists we're invited, but I don't really know why.
Yeah, I don't think that would work out.
Yeah, anyways, my name's Alex, and when I play video games, I generally try to go for the hero route. I try to be the good guy if given the choice.
My name's Richard, and I usually start that way and end up on the dark side somehow.
Oh, jeez, that's not gonna be good. But anyways, we watch a lot of anime, but we don't see every anime, and neither has anybody else. So, by that measure, we haven't seen every character.
Exactly. So there's tons of the most popular characters that are from animes we've never seen, or at least not seen all the way through, or something along those lines.
Yeah, that's right. So we decided to look at the characters who we would feel positively about. The anime characters from shows that we haven't really given that much of a chance to, but still think, I might like this person.
Exactly. So, do you want to start us off?
I would love to. So the first character on my list, Uramichi Omota from Life Lessons with Uramichi Omota.
Okay.
Okay, do you know this character or the show perchance?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, so Uramichi seems to, and once again, this is based on stuff that we know very little about these shows or these characters in some senses. Uramichi seems to basically be the star of this kid's TV show. Like he's like, hey everybody, let's paint or let's cut or let's read a story or something like that. But he's also a super jaded adult, and that slips out every now and then. Like he'll say, hey everybody, it's time for a nap, because once you get older, you won't be able to sleep as much because all you'll be doing is working. He just has a habit of saying ridiculously depressing yet and sadly very relatable stuff like that. And I don't know. Something tells me I might be able to kind of laugh at this guy and say, yeah, I understand.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting show, and he would be a very relatable character. I hate to say it.
Yeah, I saw him and I'm like, dang, this reminds me a little too much of Richard. It's starting to freak me out. Oh, hey everybody, spend your money on the ice cream because once you get older, you won't be able to spend money on anything you want. And I'm like, dude, please stop.
Yeah, being an adult really is not fun.
Yeah, I see why Ash Ketchum opted out of this. But ultimately, I guess how he's so low on the list is because I do feel like at times if I watch the show, I could be like, okay, this is. Look, you're still right and you're relatable, but I could also think to myself, dang, dude, do you ever stop being depressed? Because, contrary to popular belief, it's not always that bad. But like I said, I barely know the guy. Maybe I feel like I'll like him, but he's low on the list.
I can understand. I guess I'll co-sign. It sounds like a kind of relatable, but maybe too much at some point as well. So I think it'd be an interesting show, possibly to watch.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know him or the show that well. I just go like, maybe.
All right. So my first one. So we've watched part of the first part of this series, but he doesn't come in until the second part. Joseph Joestar from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Thought about putting him on this list, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he just, from my understanding, the fans of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure say he's the best protagonist, and I think that he's also the dual antagonist as well in the sequel series, or the
Like
third
that.
part or whatever.
Something like that.
I just think from what I've seen, he's funny, but he's also a good kind of action star kind of style of anime character. So I'd be interested in seeing him. And I think I would enjoy watching his part.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I basically know a lot of what's happened, despite the fact I still haven't admittedly seen part two yet. And I think from what I can tell, it does a good job of making him funny, but at the same time still giving the series a sense of drama and seriousness to it. Not to mention his relationship with Caesar does seem really cool. Well, despite sadly what happens with it. But yeah, I can definitely agree to that. I guess part of the thing is I'm kind of annoyed at Reese because when he introduced JoJo's to us, he kept talking about Joseph and Dio. I'm like, no, sorry, Jonathan and Dio. I'm like, I don't care about Jonathan. Joseph sounds way cooler.
Yeah, and isn't and from my understanding, it's the part two and part three where they get their stands. Is that the right term?
Something like that. I think it's part three where they get the stands, but what do I know?
But yeah, so that's the part that everybody talks so much about versus the other parts that I know that there's stuff, but I don't really know about them.
Yeah. But yeah, Joseph Joestar does kind of seem like he's right up our alley. I think we're gonna like him.
Yeah, I may give JoJo's a chance eventually. I don't know. It's on my list of possible shows.
I understand. Trust me, I understand.
All right. So your next one?
Alright, I'm gonna have trouble pronouncing this name, but I'm gonna try. Meisuke Nueno or Nube from Hell Teacher Nube.
Okay.
All right, so Nube, I'm just going to call him Nube because it's way easier. He seems to be half teacher, half exorcist. And but like I said, I haven't seen the show, but it seems to me like he's kind of like a quirky teacher who has to balance between I have to teach these kids actual life lessons and prepare them for the world, and oh, this demon's trying to freeze all of us. Maybe I should take care of that. But ultimately, from everything I've seen, he seems like a very, very nice guy. Just somebody who's trying his best to help the people around him. So, it's also in some cases a teacher who looks at his students basically as his own children. Of course, the Exorcist stuff does seem kind of cool, but I don't know, admittedly, that much about his powers. I know more about him in his personality rather than how he fights them off.
Interesting. Yeah, I like a couple of different shows where the mentor is kind of the protagonist. It's really an interesting genre when you think about it, because I guess thinking back on it, when we got introduced to anime, we were the students. Now we're on the older side of that, so it's yeah. I mean, there's still stuff to learn, but it's interesting to get the perspective of teachers as well.
Yeah. Ultimately, I really don't know any other characters from the show, but like I said, Nube just seems like kind of an average guy who got stuck being an exorcist, but still tries to help people. Also, also the theme song for the show is flippin' ridiculous.
I'll have to check it out. I don't know if I've heard that one.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's anime we haven't seen. I tried to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't even know if I've heard it. But if it's a really good one, I'm surprised I wouldn't have at least heard
From
it.
what I've heard, it's a bit on the older side.
Okay, I'll have to look and see. What was it? The exact title?
Hell Teacher Nube, like hell, like where you and I are probably ending up.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, but Nube seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, as I said, I'll co-sign. Well, I've got my own Exorcist on this list from my understanding.
Okay,
Uh, Satoru Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen.
you haven't seen this show?
No,
Okay, me either. I was just wondering.
I may I think I may have watched episode one, but it was like right when it premiered, and it looked good. But it was one of those I kind of wanted to wait till it got farther on so I could kind of binge the show, and I never came back to it. But from my understanding, he's Kakashi with a sense of humor. He's like the most overpowered person there, and yet he's more open about how funny he is versus Kakashi, who tries to be all serious.
You had to bring up Kakashi. I've been on a huge Naruto kick lately.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He looks like Kakashi. He's stereotypical white hair, and he has the mask. That's the part that everybody knows him for. And then I know that there's speculation on what he looked like before his mask came off. So kind of following the same Kakashi kind of vibe. So I think I would really enjoy this character. It's just one of those another show that it's on my list. I want to go back and actually give it a shot and watch it all the way through now that I think it's at least season one's all done.
The crazy thing is, it would be on my list, and people are going to be like, oh, because you're still just stuck rewatching old stuff. I'm like, no, I've actually started watching some newer stuff. I just can't put them on this list because I've technically started these anime, so it wouldn't completely work. But ultimately, I do agree. He does seem like one of those characters that so far nobody's had a bad word to say about him. And sometimes we've complained that, like, oh, people are just going to shove this character down our throats. But so far, that hasn't happened for him. He seems, to me, it seems like he just seems likable enough to where no one has a bad word to say about him, and maybe I won't either.
Yeah, it's a nice one. Although I haven't been around very many anime fans besides you for a long time now, so I don't know if that would be the same thing if I went to a con or something, if he would be like everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. Anime fans can be weird, but then again, like we have an anime podcast, so I guess I don't know. But ultimately, I do agree. He does seem like he'd be kind of a cool character. Or, admittedly, people talk about more about what he looks like and his and supposedly his badass moments. No one really tells me how funny he can be, so I'm glad you brought that up. That makes me more interested in him.
That's just from the scenes that I've seen people post on about this. Is seems like he's always joking about like stuff. He shows up, he's standing there, and he makes it and he cracks a joke while before having his badass moment.
Huh, all right. And hopefully we don't get destroyed in the comments for not having watched this show. Look, we're sorry. We're watching other stuff for you guys. Get over it.
Yeah, we both work full-time jobs. This is yeah, we don't have time to sit and watch everything.
Yeah, oh god, you made us sound so old. So let's move on before this gets more depressing. All right, so my next character.
Go ahead.
Oh my god, I can't believe I'm bringing up a show from this franchise. Suletta Mercury from Gundam, The Witch from Mercury.
Okay.
We don't talk about Gundam very much on this channel, which I'm sorry for that. But okay, story time for this. So I was lying down after work. I had kind of a long day. One of my cats showed up, like some of you might be used to, and started messing with my laptop and just hit the key on my laptop and clicked on a scene from The Witch of Mercury. All of a sudden, I see this girl named Suletta, I believe that's her name, and she's this redhead, kind of timid, kind of socially awkward character. I don't really know how to describe her that well, except the scene I clicked on involved her dancing. For a Gundam series, I kind of didn't expect that, and the dancing had something to do with the Gundam they're piloting. It was weird. Weird. But that's the weird thing. Nobody really talks about the weird moments from Gundam. They have to talk about the super depressing stuff or just the stuff that just infuriates them about the series. So seeing a character who, while she might have her own problems, still kind of finds a reason to get a laugh out of me or get a smile out of me, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting one. I questioned the dance thing. It's like, okay, does that mean like they have to dance to control the Gundam, or like what, whatever? It's just one of those like I've seen parts of the original and Iron Blooded Orphan because that was the one Reese showed us.
Yeah. Oddly enough, the second he showed us those two episodes, he just magically happened to leave. Wonder what that was about.
Yeah, but from what I've seen, yeah, a lot of those are very much more serious, like all the way through, from what I could tell.
Yeah. But also, like, she just seems like a cool character, and from what I've heard, she apparently has a love interest, and it's another girl, and it's played as like, oh, I just have feelings for this other person. It's not really played as a joke or a nasty stereotype. It's just like, I like this person. It seems like they're interested in me. It's kind of a tough time since we're kind of in the middle of a war, I guess. But like, I don't know. I appreciate when same sex relationships are done like that. So that's the real thing. But ultimately, it's just her. She seems like she could get some lighter moments out of the series, and I can appreciate that.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting one. So you said that one was Gundam something Witch of Mercury
The Witch from Mercury.
from Mercury. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I've never gotten into very many. The most mech giant suit show I've ever watched was Code Geass. So
Well, Power Rangers too, but I don't think that technically counts as an anime. Even it kind of does, but you know what I mean.
yeah, live action anime.
Yeah. But ultimately, Suletta, maybe she's horrible, but so far, based on the one clip I've seen, she seems nice.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting one to at least give a shot. It sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah, and some of you might be thinking, "Oh, well, you have to watch all these other Gundam." I'm like, no, I'll just watch this one. Maybe Piggy from Iron Blood Orphans, and that's it.
Okay, so my next one.
Go for it.
All right, so this is another one that I haven't seen the actual series. I've seen the I'll just say it's Hellsing Ultimate Alucard.
Yeah, I can see it.
I haven't seen the series. I've seen the abridged series, but if he's even like a tenth of uh, that, I would think I would really enjoy it, the actual Alucard in the series. Um, it's just it's one of those dark series that I keep debating going to, but I just haven't felt the want to go see it, especially having seen the abridged series. But I think it's one of those. I've heard it's very popular. So
And he's the protagonist, correct?
protagonist, yeah, I think from my understanding, he kind of is he. There's some moments that I think he's like not necessarily the protagonist. It's one of those weird where there's not necessarily a protagonist. He's the overall protagonist.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. It's a roundabout way of putting it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I can understand all the scenes I've seen from him, with or without the abridged series. He does seem like a kind of interesting, kind of badass character, yet still
Mhm.
somewhat terrifying. So I can understand why, even if you've never seen the official series, why you'd be drawn to him. I get that.
Yeah, just with his the dark visuals surrounding him, especially when he, I guess, awakens his power as Dracula or whatever. It's that those seem really interesting. So it's another one of those shows that's like, wow, I should probably actually go and watch that series. From my understanding, it's only a few episodes. It's like 13 or 20 episodes, so it's another short one.
Yeah. All I know is I want him to take us clothes shopping because his sense of fashion, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of dope.
Yeah, yeah, it really is.
Yeah. But I can co-sign. I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, you know what? Let me give some darker stuff a chance. I'm way too happy at this point. Let's get sad over some stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But I can co-sign. So my next character?
Go right ahead.
All right. I don't know how much you'll have to say about this character, but it does fly into your genre. Aqua from Konosuba.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest, I kind of feel like Aqua is not a character who I would initially like, but from everything I've heard, she gets smacked around, she gets ridiculed, she gets insulted. It seems like she gets dealt with and gets her comeuppance just enough to the point where I'm like, oh, okay, she's tolerable. It's kind of like what I tell people when I watch Ed, Ed, and Eddie. The Eds have a lot of moments where it seems like, oh wow, they got screwed over. That sucks. But there are also just as many times where they fail, and you're like, yeah, they kind of deserve that. They were jerks this episode, and I kind of get that vibe from Aqua, just in the sense of she thinks she's this high, stuck-up goddess, but in reality, there are a lot of things where she kind of just falls flat on her face.
Yeah, I've seen the same things. I think I may have seen some of the episodes years ago, and yeah, she does get her comeuppance for. I mean, the, have you seen the little bit of the start where she's finding out how the main character died and all that?
Yeah, I have seen bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, so if you can kind of get past that moment, I think when she realizes that he's taking her with him to this new world, it's one of those that they start like she starts getting her comeuppance relatively early, but it's still she still thinks she's better than everybody else for a long time in the series.
Yeah, yeah. Ultimately, let me put it this way: I'm not going to necessarily say hey, she's going to be like my favorite character ever. I'm just kind of saying when it comes to Konosuba, I look at a lot of the characters and I look at Aqua and I'm like, it kind of just seems like you're the person I'm going to like the most because the rest of the characters are kind of it could go either way.
Yeah, from my understanding, I think her name is Megumi.
Megumin?
Yeah, she's the explosion witch,
Yeah,
and
yeah. She's the explosion Chunibyo. Got it.
yeah, she's relatively the nicest, but she really likes her explosion magic. I think the other character's name is Pain.
Darkness.
Oh, Darkness. I knew it was something weird, and she's
Yeah,
like, yeah, yeah.
I know.
So I did see why Aqua would be your favorite.
Look, I'm not saying she's gonna be. I'm not saying she's gonna make my top 10 favorite characters. I'm just saying, by comparison, she doesn't seem all that bad.
Yeah, well, when the protagonist's, I think, main ability, at least at the start, is to steal underwear. Yeah, I can understand why that might be your favorite character.
Oh yeah. Let's not talk about him in this exact video. Maybe another time.
All right, but yeah, I can. So I haven't seen enough of the series to remember if she gets like better as it goes on or not. But I think she might. It's just one of those I haven't seen enough.
I figured you'd love her. She drinks endlessly. I feel like that's right up. I feel like you guys would be friends.
Yeah, I only drink with people, so yeah, maybe.
Yeah, sure. But let's move on.
All right. So I don't even know if you've seen this series or not. It's an older one. It's that actually just got either a remake or a reboot. But I talk about from the original series, Vash the Stampede from Trigun. I never saw Trigun.
I honestly didn't either. Wow, we're losing so many subscribers right now.
I know, but it's one of those. This series looks really cool. I don't think it's on Crunchyroll off the top of my head. I haven't gone back and looked, but
Keep talking.
um, from what I've seen, if I remember correctly, he's the one that carries the big cross gun thing, and this seems like a really interesting series because it kind of falls into that dystopian future kind of series that was popular about this time in Cowboy Bebop and a few others, all premiered about the same time.
It's
At
all
least
on Crunchyroll.
Okay, I may have to give this one a
So
shot.
now, neither of us have an excuse.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's Vash the Stampede, and from what I can tell, he's funny, but there are dramatic moments, from my understanding, in the series where kind of how Cowboy Bebop was, where the characters have their funny moments, but they have their serious, big life connection to the bad guys and all that. So it's one of those I'm kind of interested in seeing because I've ever since I saw Cowboy Bebop all the way through finally.
Yeah, I can understand that. He does kind of every time I look at this guy, I kind of get a smile across my face. Like, I feel like this guy is one of the most likable people. And I still want to hold on to hope for that, but I don't know. I've been burned before, but I don't think I will with him.
Yeah, exactly. And as I said, I would need to give the original series a chance before I even consider, because when I saw the reboot that had the computer animation, and from my understanding, the fans are not happy with that series. So
Are anime fans ever actually happy?
depending on what the reboot actually looks like or remake,
No, I don't
every
mean
so often.
reboots or remakes. I mean, are anime fans happy in general?
No, probably not.
Okay.
But yeah, so Vash the Stampede from Trigun is on my list.
I agree. He seems like a cool guy. I especially he kind of reminds me of Sakamoto from Gintama in the sense of, hey, I can be super happy and cheery and kind of dopey, but I can also kill you whenever I want with my guns. You just kind of have to figure out which side of that you want to deal with.
Exactly. So I said this is one of those older series that's like I should give that one a shot.
Yeah, I can agree. So honorable mentions.
Go right ahead.
Do I have to say it?
Yes.
Do, uh, you can help me out with this one, but fine. Megumi Ta Megumi Tadakoro from Food Wars.
Okay.
I don't know. She seems like a nice girl. That's kind of all I got. I guess for me, I always kind of root for the characters who just seem like pleasant people. Just seem like, even if they have their flaws, they seem like nice people. They seem like people you'd want to hang out with. And I don't know anything about her backstory. I don't know who her best friend is. I don't know how tall she is. I don't know what her favorite food is. I don't know anything about this girl. She just seems pleasant, so that's kind of the only reason. And that's kind of it.
She, I think, fits the role of of pretty much being the, at least at the start, the same kind of viewpoint as the audience of, ooh, that food looks good, but I'll never be able to actually to. But throughout the series, she does grow a good bit and ends up in the elite 10 of the school and all that. So she's one of the top students by the end of the series. So she has a really nice growth. She's, yeah, I can really understand. She's probably one of the best characters in the entire series because she's not over the top like a lot of the other ones are.
She's one of the best characters in the series, which is why you've never once brought her up before.
Unfortunately, there's just not. She gets regulated a lot to the back later on in the series because while she is developed into a good cook, she's not in like that top elite section of the entire group that's there. So it's one of those kind of, is she the best? No, but is she really good? Yes.
Yeah. But that's kind of all I had. And I'm going to say it right this time because I butchered that horribly. Megumi Tadokoro from Food Wars. She seems nice.
Yep, and I'll co-sign. I think you would enjoy her. All right, so my first honorable mention. So this one might be a little cheating because I've seen a few episodes, but that's just through you. And the episodes you've specifically had me sit down and watch with you, it weren't actually focused that much on him. And that's Gintoki Sakata from Gintama.
Okay.
I just think he's absolutely hilarious from the scenes I've seen, but like all the episodes you had me sit with you and watch were the ones that were involved the police force and the guy who likes mayonnaise, and those were the episodes you said, hey, you should watch this episode with me. So I'd kind of be interested because I know he has some dark past. You've talked a lot about him, so I'm really kind of interested in, as I've talked about, going back and watching Gintama. But again, that's another show that I have to dedicate a lot of time to try to watch all of it.
Yeah, I can agree though. He's honestly one like I've said before with some of these characters. Look, it's not like they're going to be on my top list, but I legitimately mean Gintoki might honestly be one of, if not my favorite anime character. Just period. He has a lot of moments where the stuff he does doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but then you listen to him and you're like, oh wait, he knows what he's talking about, or he's actually just trolling you and you kind of have no idea. But I don't know. He has a weird sense of charisma that I feel like nobody hates this. Nobody hates him as a character. Or, there are there are times where you kind of wonder how the hell is he still alive after going through what he's gone through. But I don't feel like it necessarily ruins the immersion of the show. I think they do a good enough job of showcasing. Sometimes he has to hold back.
Yeah, and I kind of like the idea of such a strong protagonist that he uses the wooden practice sword instead of an actual blade and stuff, and is still pretty much able to win most fights that way. So I think that part with being him being overpowered as well is kind of cool.
Yeah, but I can understand that. Ultimately, when I first heard about him through J Stars, he started acting like he was Goku from Dragon Ball. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Do I really need to watch this show? And I start watching it. I'm like, I don't want to stop. But yeah, he's a quirky dude. So just go into the series with that because he's an oddball.
Okay. Yeah, as I said, it's another one. Again, all these are on my list eventually to sit down and actually give a shot.
Yeah, but yeah, I can understand that. I really like Gintoki.
All right. So your next one?
All right, Chie Satonaka from Persona 4.
Okay.
This is the girl from Persona 4 who likes the kung fu and action movies and stuff like that.
She has the shorter haircut, right?
That is correct.
Okay, I know which one you're talking about.
Besides that, I know nothing about her besides the fact that apparently she also likes to eat meat. So, like, best friend ever.
Yeah, my first college roommate played Persona 4 a lot, so I've saw a good bit of the series. I didn't pay much attention until you were actually playing Persona 5, so I think from what I saw, I remember you. I think you would like her.
Yeah. I know not like I said, I know nothing about her backstory. I don't even think I've ever remember hearing what she sounds like. But Chie just seems cool. But then again, she also seems everybody seems to think she's the best S girl, so I might just do, you know what? When I play this game, let me just pick somebody else just to see how people react. It never goes well when I do that.
No, no, especially when the game's as old as it is, and if there's the one that's more popular, it always ends up being there's always a fan base.
Yeah. But like I said, she seems cool, seems like somebody you could hang with. Haven't played Persona 4 though, so I don't know, but I have faith.
Yeah, as I said, I think you would like her from what I remember. It's been a long time since I've saw anyone play the game or seen the series or anything like that. So yeah, interesting choice. All right, my next honorable mention.
Go for it.
Um, let's see, it's Sano, uh, Mani- Manijoro from Tokyo Revengers. This is another series that I don't know if I really want to give a shot. I've heard good things. I know it's got a good, large fan base, but he's supposed to be like one of the leaders of the gang who, when it comes to his gang and his friends, if he's the stereotypical, he'll joke around with everybody, but as soon as someone threatens something, he turns a corner and becomes very aggressive about protecting his friends. So I think he would be an interesting one. As I said, it's one of those series I don't know a lot about, but I've heard good things about Tokyo Revengers. So
I notice him more than I notice the rest of the cast. I still don't necessarily know if that's a good thing or not. I'm still kind of at the point where I'm like, I don't know how to feel about this show yet. But Sano's cool.
oh, so you've seen it or parts of it at least?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. What so you would you recommend it? I haven't heard
like
a
I said, I'm still too early into it, and I'm kind of like, this is good, but something's up. It's kind of like how I've talked about you with Doctor Stone, but Tokyo Revengers is a little easier. Or Doctor Stone's like, I think I might like the show once I give it a chance, but something's off about it. And Tokyo Revengers, I was just like, screw it, let's just see what's up with it.
okay, I can understand that. This is it. Again, all these are on the list to get watched eventually. I just don't know
Ironically,
when I have time.
Ironically enough, I said Food Wars was on the list of shows I don't think I want to give a chance. I just want to throw her on there because I'm like, yeah, it's different.
Yeah, of the characters, she would probably be your favorite because she's the most normal, but she has some interesting sides, especially in some of her later battles.
Yeah, yeah. But you said Sano, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool.
All
I
right.
I think you might like him.
Yeah, from what I read with him being, as I said, being that typical strong friend who like will joke with you, but as soon as someone threatens to hurt you or do something, he's more aggressive, more angry about that sort of thing. It seemed like an interesting character.
Yeah, I can co-sign.
All right, your final honorable mention.
All right, the Matsuno siblings from Osamatsu-kun.
Okay.
They're not they're honorable mentions because I didn't really feel like picking one out of the six siblings, but they all just seem likable enough and relatable enough that I feel like I could. I feel like when I finally start the show, I'll start to like them. Like I said, I really didn't feel like picking out one of these characters because they all kind of seem based on when you don't watch the series, they all kind of feel like the same character, especially since they look exactly the same. But I don't know. I get that from what I've heard, they're all different enough to where you can find something different about all of them that you could like. I don't know. They seem like cool siblings, and the fact that they were in a Psyche K episode and a Black Clover episode, maybe that helps.
Hmm. I vaguely know which uh sibling or which show you're talking about. It's just yeah, I haven't I don't know. This one's just weird. I don't know if I like the idea of them all being the exact same per like design, just slightly like different clothes and slightly different personalities.
Yeah, I understand that. I do remember in that same episode, Psyche clones himself, and everybody finds out it's like, Psyche, what's going on with these guys? And Psyche says, they're my siblings, and it just shows all of the Osamatsu guys dressed up as Psyche. He's like, they're my siblings, and Kaido's like, who the hell would believe that? And I'm like, okay, all right, you've got me interested. And apparently, they were in the Magic Knights exam. They were in the Magic Knights exam for Black Clover. They were just standing. They were just. I guess they just didn't get their turn to fight.
They were all accepted into Golden Dawn.
I could believe it, but anyways, I think they could be cool. The Matsuno siblings, they seem all right to me.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, there's a couple different like seasons or series in
Yeah, that's
in
kind of the
this.
problem. I'm kind of trying to navigate what the hell do I watch first?
Yeah, because I think there's one that takes place like in high school, and then one when they're college age, young adult. I know that much from what I've heard, but other than that, I really don't know much about that series. I'll co-sign it. See, they could be interesting.
Yeah,
All right. So my next one, my final honorable mention.
yeah,
So this one, I really just don't know. That's why it's an honorable mention, and it's Violet Evergarden. Yeah, from Violet Evergarden.
easy to remember.
Yeah. So from what I can tell, she's either like a robot or a human that's like had her like emotion stripped so that she could be a killing machine. And I know from my understanding, the series is her trying to discover human emotion again or discover human emotion. I don't really know because of something to do with the her commanding officer or whoever was in command of her. So it's one of those that at first I don't know if I would like her, but maybe as the series goes on and she discovers more about herself and like awakens her emotions, that could be a really interesting series. It's recovering kind of from the trauma, whatever she's been through and all that to open up to the world. So it's one of those honorable mention. I don't know enough about the series and where it goes from where it starts. So
Yeah, I can understand that. I've heard really good things about this show, but it's kind of similar to what you talked about with Re Zero. I've heard good things about this show, but nobody's willing to tell me what specifically is good about it. Or I guess when you talked about Re Zero, it's just that everybody knows the show, not whether is it good or not.
yeah, that's kind of the thing. But I wanted to put it on my list because it's one of those. It's different for me, but it's still kind of. I think it could be a really interesting show. It's just I need to give it a chance, and actually sit down. I mean, maybe eventually I'll be able to actually describe what it's involved in the series.
Yeah, we're talking about a lot of shows we really don't talk about that much. Our main viewers are going to be so confused by this, but I can understand.
Oh, right. And you had an honorable mention, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, this is an honorable mention because it kind of feels like cheating in some cases, but it also kind of doesn't. Because it's not from this character is not from an anime. He's from a manga.
Okay.
Diamond from Pokemon Adventures.
Okay.
Okay. A while ago, I said that on anime that I wanted to give a chance or something. I said I wanted to give the Pokemon manga a chance, and so far, I'm enjoying it. But Diamond and Pearl's kind of the one I haven't really gotten to yet. And Diamond or Lucas, if you play the games or well, the games, is kind of this. He's kind of an odd character because he's not focused on gyms or contests or anything. He and Pearl or Barry are focused on becoming basically a stand-up comedy duo. He's kind of an odd character. He's always eating a lot. He doesn't really. He's kind of airheaded at times, but he's also very astute. He just seems like a nice guy that anyone could get along with because apparently Pokemon flock to him whenever he's doing something. I don't know. He seems like such an odd character for, as we've talked about, Lucas, somebody who really just got well nothing.
Yeah, because that's very different from if you play as Dawn in the games. So you have Lucas actually get some personality. That's not his personality at all. He's very much the uh, professor's assistant throughout the games. So you don't. That's like a complete 180. So I could see it being an interesting dynamic for the character.
Yeah. I wanted to put Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum on, but I'm just like, if it's an honorable mention, let me just stick with the one character. Also, apparently, the Platinum or Dawn on because it's basically Dawn. Apparently, he is head over heels for her, and he makes it abundantly obvious. But I don't know. From what I've seen, it's kind of done in a charming, kind of sweet way, and not in the oh my god, please end this romance sort of thing.
Well, that would be nice. Like, seems like it'd be a step up from what Pokemon usually gives us when it comes to that, which was mostly just Brock being head over heels for someone and making a fool out of himself or getting
Yeah,
pulled back by insert character name here.
yeah. Maybe it's because in some cases, from what I've heard, it's kind of implied she likes him back. I don't know. Oh, it's not. It's kind of strange how I've seen very little of the manga, yet at the same time, I look at some of these romances. I'm like, this is actually kind of nice. And I look at the anime, and I'm like, these aren't horrible, but I don't really care one way or the other about whether it happens or not.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah. And I'm not shaming you if you care about romance in the Pokemon anime. I'm legitimately not. I'm just saying, for me personally, I just don't find interest in it.
Yeah, I'd say about the same. That's about right.
Yeah.
All right. So you ready to do your final one?
Yeah. But to close out, Diamond, he seems cool. The Pokemon manga is interesting. Some of it I like, some of it I'm a little let down by. But overall, Diamond.
Okay, I'll co-sign. I don't know the manga well enough, but uh, it sounds like an interesting one, especially how much he's different from the game character.
Yeah. But the final character on a list of from anime that we haven't seen, but we think we would like these characters, Silvio Sawatari from Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 or Arc V, whatever it's called.
Okay.
Apparently, Silvio is Yuya's main rival or secondary rival, and we just got done talking about Pokemon, so I might as well say it. Richard, imagine Harley from Pokemon, but he's one of the main characters and one of the main heroes.
I probably would have stopped watching.
Yeah, a very pompous, stuck up. I don't know if flamboyant is the best term for it, but just kind of very in love with himself, sort of thing. But ultimately, from what I've heard, he does develop in the sense of he doesn't change in the sense of he's still stuck up by the end of the series, but he does grow to want to protect the people around him. I've played I've played with a lot of his cards in Duel Links, like mainly the Abyss actors, and I think they're really unique and actually fully got me to understand pendulum summoning somehow. But he also has a lot of really funny moments. It's and ridiculously over the top stuff. And apparently, he almost beat one of the main villains for Arc 5 before they decide, no, Ape Side, no, you're not the main character. You can't do that.
Interesting. As I said, for me, if he doesn't change personality enough, then that might be a problem.
I don't know.
Just for him to be in the series as like every episode or every other episode or something. At least with Harley, you got him in like small 2 or 3 episodes at a time, and that was about it. But it was enough to give you a refresh so that when he showed up again, it wasn't so much of wow, he's got that personality. So it could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. I would have to see him and actually see where he goes in the series.
I guess my thing is in Duel Links, he just makes me laugh too hard. I'm like, I can't fully hate this guy because he kind of just makes me laugh. And the crazy thing is, everybody gets on Chaz because everyone's like, Chaz didn't win enough duels. He lost too many times. Apparently, Silvio, you could count on one hand how many duels Silvio wins throughout the series. And I'm like, that's not good. But I still find myself liking this guy. I'm not entirely sure what it is.
Wow, that is sad though. That if he only won enough to be on one hand.
Yeah, and apparently only one of those duels was like one-on-one, and it was against somebody who I don't even know if we learned their name. It's just some random one-off character.
Kind of one of those like introducing him. He's dueling this person, and he shows him winning so that it looks like he's a good duelist.
I think it's like one of his henchmen or something, and then he starts saying stuff like, who has the best moves? And all his henchmen are like, Silvio. And I'm like, these guys are so damn lame. And but like I said, he does, every now and then I see clips of him, and he does have moments where he's standing up for what he's believing in, or trying to protect his friends, while saying weird stuff like, I actually agree with him. People can change. For example, I used to be handsome, and now I'm gorgeous. I'm like, why do I like this character?
Yeah, that seems like an interesting one. I'd have to maybe I'll go look at some clips after this and see what he's up to.
Yeah, but apparently only watch dub Silvio, because in the sub he's just completely blunt, and like, that's not nearly as interesting. I need this random character who's completely obsessed with himself.
All right, I guess I'll co-sign. It's one of those I would need to see some of what he says. I guess in the English dub, I'll have to go look him up.
Yeah,
All right, so my final one.
go for it.
So hopefully you won't kill me for this for not having seen this series, but Jay might. And so it's Kazuma Kuwabara from Yu Yu Hakusho. I haven't seen Yu Yu Hakusho. As a I
Oh,
did
okay. Okay. This
so
isn't like the Cowboy Bebop thing where it's like, yeah, technically I haven't really seen it either. This is me legitimately frustrated with you. What?
yeah, so I didn't watch a lot of Toonami until pretty much I got a little bit older and stuff. So this show really wasn't on it anymore by the time I got onto it and watched a few episodes of Dragon Balls and Dragon Ball Z, and then Naruto was kind of the big one on it at that point. So unfortunately, I missed this one. It's again on the list to see. From my understanding, it was one of the best ones available on this series on this one. But when it comes to Kazuma, it's I don't know, him being the sidekick with his sword and being I don't know, just from what I've seen, he's always less powerful than like everybody else, but still every so often manages to pull out a win. It seems like he'd be an interesting character to follow through the series.
I flippin' love this guy. Let me put it to you this way: you love Joey Wheeler, you're gonna love Kazuma. You're gonna love this guy.
Okay, yeah, I kind of figured that's kind of what the vibes I got was the almost dopey sidekick, but who still manages to pull out some good wins throughout the series.
Yeah. Even through my rewatch, I'm like, I love this guy. And I love how loyal he is, even when him and Yusuke are like kind of just delinquents without really being friends. Because when Yusuke dies in the beginning and everybody's sad about it, he just shows up and bursts through the door. It's like, I have to fight Urameshi. It's like, no, he's dead. Stop. And everyone's trying to hold him back. Like, no, I'm going to fight Urameshi. We're not done. He can't die until we're done fighting. And it's funny, but it's also really kind of heartbreaking. Like, they weren't friends necessarily, but they did kind of understand each other. And if that's how it works before they're friends, when they become friends, it becomes so much better.
Yeah, this show is probably up there. I keep putting it off, and I don't know why. I really want to give this one a shot.
I don't either.
Yeah, so I maybe I'll start this one because this one's I need something long that has a lot of episodes right now. So I guess that would work. I just started Yu-Gi-Oh! GX again. I don't know. I got to figure out what I'm watching with a lot of episodes. Maybe I'll go between the two and try to catch up.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sorry, I'm so used to calling him Kuwabara, but I'm just gonna call him that. Kuwabara, he's probably, I'd honestly say he might actually be my favorite character in the series.
Yeah, as I said, he seemed like the most entertaining from everything I've seen online about the series, because we have the stereotypical dark rival-ish character that I remember seeing, and
EA.
Yeah, so as I said, I think maybe I'll kind of flip between the two series as my long-running one, and then just keep watching my shorter stuff that's coming out right now.
And I'm able to live with the fact that you haven't seen the show, but if you skip the theme song in English, I will kill you.
Okay. Yeah, let me guess, you were texting Jay, weren't you, to see what he
Yeah,
wanted to
I said so. Richard hasn't seen Yu Yu Hakusho. How do we handle this?
It's either going to be a lot of cussing or we're having a streaming marathon sometime soon.
Yeah, and and the worst part is you'll reveal, hey, I've actually seen Yu Yu Hakusho, but you made me sit down and watch this, so I'm gonna make you sit down and watch something you haven't seen. And I'm like, no.
All right, but yeah, as I said, how do you say this?
I say Kuwabara.
Kuwabara. Okay, but yeah, he seems like one of the kind of cooler, kind of dopey, but still having the good moments.
Yeah, and I can co-sign. I think he's great. Now we've revealed a lot of shows between us that we really haven't watched yet. But to be fair, no, I got nothing. And you can't make us. But if you want to try, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and all that other stuff. And ladies, gentlemen, and others, let us know, what are some characters from anime you haven't seen, but you think you're gonna like said character?
Yeah, and I mean, do you have any of these characters that you actually don't think you would like? I mean, that from our lists, I think we picked out a lot of characters that are either very popular or a lot of people like, but I want to know if any of them are like, yeah, I don't think I would like them.
Yeah. And I guess for those of you who like when we're more negative, we will do a list of characters from anime that we haven't seen, but honestly, we just don't think we're gonna like these guys. I'd like for us to be wrong. I'd like for us to like these characters, but we're also kind of stubborn and stuck in our ways, so who knows how that's gonna work.
Yep, so keep an eye out for that video.
That is correct, and we will see you guys next time. This has been Alex.
And Richard.
And you have been listening to Anime Egotists. Good night, and peace easy.